everyone, it's Mr. Frazier. We're about to start our module, the 5 themes of geography. This is how we're going to focus on all of our content this year. Anytime we learn about something around the world, we're going to be learning about one of these 5 themes. These 5 themes are movement, region, location, human environmental interaction, and place. You can remember the 5 themes of geography by the words Mr. LIIP. And this stands for movement, regions, location, interaction, in terms of human and environmental interaction, and place. So first up is movement. Movement focuses on how people, goods, and ideas move from place to place. This can be human movement. So the idea of moving goods by trucks or trains or planes. For example, if you look at the tag within your shirt or in your shoes, you're going to notice that most of these are not made in America. Go ahead and try. Also, there's a movement of information. Phones, computers, and mail allow for information and ideas to travel in our modern world. If we were to look at the movement of ideas and information over time throughout history, we can see it with language and religion most clearly. We can see it with religion. If we think about the United States, for example, few of the major religions actually were founded here. For example, the religion of Christianity comes out of the Middle East, as does Judaism and Islam. In terms of language, the major language within the United States of English is obviously not found here, but in England. So as we think about the movement of ideas and as we look at our different areas around the world, we need to realize that the way they are today may be different from the way they are yesterday. The way they are today may be very different from the way they are tomorrow. Next, we have regions. Regions are really just groupings of areas that are defined on the basis of physical and human characteristics. What this means is they take area and they divide it up based on these characteristics that can help us to interpret the information we find from that place. Physical characteristics are things made by nature. This may be mountains, or rivers, or even deserts. Additionally, it may even be climatic patterns. Human characteristics are things such as language, religion, or even the way people dress, act, or think. It could also be a similar history or culture. Regions are very helpful to us as geographers because they allow for us to learn a lot of information by examining similarities, rather than learning individually, city by city, country by country, or person by person. Next, we have location. For location, we have 2 basic types that we are looking at, absolute and relative. For absolute location uses latitude and longitude to gather an exact spot on Earth. Additionally, we can use addresses in our modern world to do the same thing. Latitude and longitude are very convenient because they can tell us specifically where to go. But if we are not really sure where we are because we're lacking a GPS or maybe even a detailed map, we're more likely to use this one over here, relative location. Relative location uses landmarks, such as go to the Quickie Mart and take a right. And it uses direction or distance to find one place from another. So one place relative to another. So, for example, when we use north, south, east, and west, we often are using relative location. So, north of the USA. That would let us find Canada. And that's the relative location of Canada. If we were to get the relative location of maybe Sutton, we can say south of Worcester. Our point here is very simple. Relative location uses one thing to find another. Next, we have the I of Mr. LIIP, human-environmental interaction. This is a very simple concept. We depend on the environment and we change our environment. So our environment impacts us and we impact the environment, and we do this very simply. For example, if we need a river for drinking and planting crops, we're going to dig into that river and create aqueducts, or we're going to drink from that water. But additionally, the environment can impact us. In New England, we're not going to drive a two-wheel drive car in the middle of winter, in the middle of a storm. We'll look for that big old SUV and drive through it. Additionally, in New England, you'll notice we have roofs with steep angles on them. The roofs of our homes are like this so that when snow accumulates, they don't collapse. If we built roofs like you would see in Arizona with a slight angle, the likelihood is that it would crush everybody inside. So here's where human environmental interaction boils down. It's about adaptation. How do we adapt the environment to us, and how do we adapt us to the environment? That, in essence, is human environmental interaction. The last piece of Mr. LIIP is place. Place is very important. Place can be dependent on human characteristics or physical characteristics. First, let us look at physical characteristics. Places with physical characteristics could be things such as mountains, rivers, like Mount Everest or the Mississippi River. It could be places based on climate, vegetation, wildlife, or soil, like the Arctic tundra. In essence, place for physical characteristics is based upon things made by, again, nature. If we were to look at human characteristics, obviously it's things made by humans, such as languages, customs, and beliefs. What we would examine as geographers is how people live, work, and visit a place, with a place. Places, in essence, are all about a story. If you have a story about a location, it becomes a place. If it has characteristics, it becomes a place, not just a location. So, Fenway Park is a place. It is filled with human characteristics. People who visit there have customs and beliefs. There's a story behind those who visit and what the building has been through. In addition to Fenway Park, you have the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is an example of a place, again, because the story of the thousands of years it took of the Colorado River coming through it, digging away at the soil, creating that canyon. So you see, place is probably the most interesting we have, because as we examine a place, or the places around in the world, we're going to learn many stories of people and nature. This is the last part of the 5 themes of geography. Now you've seen the 5 themes of geography. The most important part about this is that you remember these are just ways of thinking about the world. So, here's your assignment. You are to fill out examples of the 5 themes of geography on the graphic organizer you were given today in class. You are to bring it back into class filled out by the assignment date. Lastly, you need to answer this question and submit it into the assignment portion of this week's lesson. Here is the question. You are to first fill out examples of the 5 themes of geography on the graphic organizer you were given in class. These examples can be taken from what I said or other things. Also, you're to answer this question below. Answer this question here and submit it using the assignment portion of this task. So here's the question. Where are you seeing the 5 themes of geography within Sutton? So, living in this small town, do you see aspects of it? Whether or not you do, they're there. I want you to take your time. I want you to find one. I want you to say what it is in the first sentence. In sentence 2, I want you to explain why you're right. And lastly, you need to submit this by the time this assignment is due. Good luck.